We about to talk about it today, man. What's going on? It's your Couch Poly Rob. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Man, we are live right now. I got the legendary, classic, still doing his thing. You know what I mean? We got Glasses Malone in the building. You know what I'm saying? You got too many titles. You know what I'm saying? You got legendary gangsterism, rapper, songwriter, producer. You got to add producer.
Landlord of hip hop.
Landlord of there you go. There you go.
That's all I'm rocking with right now. The landlord of hip hop and the loc.
Right. Let's go. How you feeling before we get into this debate? How do you feel about, past couple of years you jumped into the world of content? You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you would call yourself a journalist, maybe not, but how you feel just jumping into this for the past couple of years?
I don't really consider myself a journalist. I'm a culturist, honestly. I like, not to try to sound like a smart ass, but I really, on the journey of hip hop, on the journey of learning hip hop, I fell in love with a culture that was created for people that came from where I came from. You know what I'm saying? Right. And it made me want to start investigating where everybody else came from and how connected it is. So all my conversation has really been rooted into that. You know what I mean? I don't know if I'm really quite a journalist. I don't think I have any intentions on being a journalist. Maybe, right. I have wrote stuff, but I don't consider myself that now. I think I'm more of a culturist.
I believe that wholeheartedly. And I mean, just you coming from, your city and your neighborhood, for me, I mean, we have conversations all the time. I always feel like it's important from people who really have done things in their neighborhood, to be honest, good or bad, should have some level of a voice in talking about what's really going on. You know what I'm saying? If you look at, let's say, sports, for instance, the ESPNs of the world, it's filled with a lot of people that haven't really indulged in a full culture. They're looking at it from a outside looking in. They're covering it, but, have they indulged in it? Have they done it? Which is not taken away from what they do, because we do need, people to cover our culture.
Yeah, you need Marv Albert, even though Marv Albert couldn't hoop, or some of these people, they couldn't hoop, but you do need the Shaquille O'Neals, you need the Kenny Smiths, you need the Charles Barkleys, you need the people who, who really know how the game is played. You know what I mean? Exactly. Not necessarily just somebody who's observed it, but somebody who played in the game.
And the ones that's not going to hold no punches, I always listen to the ones who are in the locker room, per se. You know what I'm saying? Equivalent to, in hip hop, a lot of the street rappers, in my opinion, progress a lot more, because the first thing you think is like they're on the ground floor getting to the shit. You know what I'm saying? And that's important for me, especially when we're covering our culture. For me, I'm not a gangster, but I am someone who, as you would say, I'm a part of urban street culture. True. You know what I'm saying? I lived the life, I've went through the hardships, and even still now.
You broke the rules sometimes. You broke the rules.
Yeah.
You broke the rules where you understood you had to. Morally, our morals is more important than sometimes the law is.
Right, exactly. Exactly. So I applaud you for even taking the time to even deal with content creation, because I know how I get sometimes. You know what I mean?
Nah, man, I've been going through it with my team, where sometimes the conversations, like I was saying it to the Homie Friday in Toronto. I was like, bro, like if I wanted to really make content, I've been in this business 20 years. Like the shit I know about people, you know what I'm saying, it's crazy. And exactly what I could tell you about people, and really knowing that I'm with all the bullshit that they want to do about it,
right,
you feel me, makes me really powerful. But the truth is, I'm not really looking to build content at all costs. Like if a great conversation or something that allows me to examine caves, you know what I mean, that I haven't been into culturally, then it's worth having. But like I wouldn't have just like a Biggie Tupac argument. Like I just wouldn't debate that. Like I wouldn't even, and again, I don't even consider myself much of like a debater, and I know that sounds crazy to people that know me, but I really just be trying to pass information back and forth. I'm not trying to hold on to nothing. Like it's not I'm not trying to get you to convert your ways. Like no matter whatever the thought, it's just an idea that I had and I'm sharing it with you. And
Right.
we'll have a conversation because you're not being receptive to the information that I've took time to discover. Even if you agree or not, just, listening to somebody sharing with you some of their studies and mental calories they've lost, in pursuit of this, mental fitness.
But sometimes you do be wilding.
I don't think
Sometimes you have takes. You be wilding.
I don't think I
Sometimes
never had a wild take.
you never had a wild take ever.
Never. Not in my opinion. You know what I mean? It's only wild because everybody else just don't be thinking. Sometimes people just go with what feels like everybody else been saying for years. I mean, not especially not in hip hop. I don't really have no wild takes. Not
Well,
really.
There was a wild take. I would say this wild take. Then it aged gracefully. The R. Kelly situation. Wild take then aged gracefully. You know what I'm saying?
It's not wild. Like okay. I guess this only happened at Paramount High School when I went there. Mm-hmm. That there were older dudes coming to scoop up the girls at the school. Girls that graduated in 1990. I graduated in 97 and they graduated in 90, 91. They was at the McDonald's waiting on the girls.
Right.
I mean, girls were choosing the dudes with cars that had jobs and things to offer them for the same thing. So it's like, I guess that only happened at my school and I'm the only person who saw it.
No. That's a real thing. No, real talk. That would happen. Girls would literally especially, the schools that had the lunches where you go outside, you do your thing, and they would really leave the entire campus, hop in the whip with the college guy. I remember that. So, you know what I'm saying? And
what I was saying about R. Kelly was, again, what's happening with him is against the law and he should be prosecuted. But when somebody takes charges, that don't fit because they can just trump it up at this person to meet maybe, Black America's goal was to get him the help and actually make sure he got the correct punishment, you know what I mean, for, certain crimes that were against the laws. But when the system takes that moment and lynches somebody and, it charges that should have been statutory assault on women. I mean, you know the word, or it should have been like it was federal pornography, which is all fair charges for a criminal.
Exactly.
When they make it, when people don't care that they made it trafficking, when people don't care that they made it the Mann Act, when people don't care that they charge him with a RICO by itself, and I kept telling them, I said, look, we should be making these people charge him with the correct charges, not just anything because we're outraged because we just saw this docuseries. Let's make sure this man is held accountable correctly and he gets the help he needs, let's make sure that's right. And, I'm so mad because I saw this documentary and the documentary made me feel this, so I don't care what they do to him. Well, I don't care which brother it is. I care what the system do to them.
Right.
My mama died in prison. It ain't just personal. Like I've been in the system. I know what it feels like. I care what they do to the worst of us. Even R. Kelly, who, obviously got some stuff going on in his mind, but it still should be fair. And I told y'all if we didn't deal with it, they was going to do it to more brothers.
And they tried with Diddy too.
Next thing you know, they tried with Jay. They're going to not stop because long as they can find those moments where we have that fake sense of outrage based off of entertainment, they're going to use that moment to take back everything they gave some brother.
Yeah, 100%. And, I talked about this before. It's funny and it's crazy and it's really distasteful how all of our greats, they're coming after. Like they're coming after all of our greats, the ones who have put together musical feats and, success feats that last the test of time. You know what I'm saying? Like they're trying to take them all out. You know what I mean? And that's why I can honestly say that I respect how you approach talking about situations is because you're very, very protective of our beloved hip hop culture. You're very protective of that. And a lot of people are not. They use it for what they use it for. Then they just that's about it. You know what I'm saying? And
man, Rob, when I went to New York, bro, and I was on that whole kind of What do you call it when Malcolm X went to Mecca? What's that called?
Um, uh, I don't know the actual term, but it's pretty much you going to get your lesson. You know what I'm saying?
That's
Like you,
kind of what I did. That's
yeah,
exactly what I did in hip hop. And I feel like I left with the real responsibility to protect something that changed my life. And,
mhm,
you know, I don't care how nobody feel. It means that much to me. It
right,
means as I start studying all the other music that poor black people created, you know what I mean? All the other genres, and I realized they were all gone and replaced. And major
mhm,
labels now don't finance people that look like that no more, and they finance the people that's more, you know, physically viable to market.
right,
You know what I mean? I don't want that for hip hop. When I studied the history of rock and roll and I saw how it looked, and then I looked at the rock and roll that I knew growing up, and it didn't look like nothing like the original first 10, 20 years of rock and roll. Feel me?
mhm,
Yeah, I don't want that to happen to hip hop. I don't care. I'd rather it burn in flames than it turn into what rock and roll is as a representation of what rock was from its inception. I do
facts,
not it's important to me that I keep getting the news of what's happening in our communities around this country. You feel me? From hip hop. It's the most authentic version of the news. It's the one that I can decode and know what's happening. Other than
right,
that, I would have to depend on the news. So before I let, some, you know, suburban asshole who has no rooted care in poor people in struggle get their hands on it and become the official face, and then it allows them to finance more people who don't care about this, and then that becomes the voice, and I lose a connection with all of the other poor people that I'm learning from what's happening in the music. Yeah,
right,
I don't care. I'll burn it all down. Fuck all of these people. Fuck I don't
right.
care what none of them say. Every last one of them that got to get evicted because can go. Fuck all y'all. Fuck all
Yeah,
your money. Fuck all that. I
right.
want.
And a lot of major companies use the strategy of what hip hop does to our community in terms of keeping us updated on what's going on. They use that strategy in their social media platforms and a lot of ways to market how they do other things with other mediums. You know what I'm saying? Like if it wasn't for like hip hop, we can learn the music, what's going on in the culture, what's going on in our community, and how we've been progressing, even if it's not the actual music. Like we know people that are progressing in business naturally that indulge in hip hop, but that's not their medium. Like
Yeah,
earn your leisure.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
right.
That they talk about hip hop probably like about 12 or 13% of the time, but we know about them because our figures that we love in business and in music, you know what I'm saying, it translates through there. So country don't do that. You know what I'm saying? There's other pop music don't do that per se. You know what I mean? And if they do, they learn it from us because our urban street culture, as you would call it, I'll use that term, is engulfed in all of our ways of life and how we communicate. Our way of communication is very unique,
Chuck
and people try
D
to use that all the
called
time.
Chuck D called hip hop the ghetto CNN. I'm going to protect that with every ounce of me until I'm no longer here
Right.
because he blessed it. He entrusted it to somebody like me because the homies from the Spades, them old G dudes I talked to and the Bronxdale Project from the Spades that don't exist no more. They entrusted it to people like us to protect it, to make sure that the next wave of street urban children can tell their story and we could always be abreast on what's happening somewhere. So we're
Right.
not just trusting the media. Because if we trust the media, everybody in LA will think about gangs as just colors. But if you listen
Right.
to Snoop Dogg, if you listen to Easy E and NWA, if you listen to Ice Cube, you know more. But without it, all they have is colors. All they
Yeah.
have is these old crazy Negroes, fighting over areas they don't own and fighting over, colors. That's all they have. And it's still a rhetoric right now, even with all of the Snoop Dogs, the Dub C's, the Mac
Right.
10s, the Ice Cubes, the
Ice
Ice
Cube.
T's, all of these people vocalizing the depth of what's happening. Guess what? They saw Dennis Hopper's colors. And it's Dennis Hopper telling you, shout out to Dennis Hopper because he's an
Mhm.
amazing talent as a Hollywood actor, but he's telling you about
Right.
something that he has this much information on. And
Yeah.
you take that information as a brother and form it on another brother without even talking to him.
Exactly. Exactly.
So
Well,
yeah, I
well,
protect this
really,
thing with my life.
Really, really quick. Have you heard about the Aries Spears Ice Cube thing?
Sure, I saw that.
Okay, I gotta ask this question because I was having a conversation with somebody else. So a lot of people, I would say, let's just say people that are not from the West, right? They don't look at Ice Cube per se as a lyricist. What are they missing? Because Eric Spears is missing that element. Like, I don't think he understands how important Ice Cube was to the culture, but also how important his lyricism was and his songwriting was to hip hop in general. What is Ari Spears and people like him missing?
I don't think they missing anything. I think LL Cool J takes the same slander. I think Ice-T takes the same slander. I think all of the first generation guys, I call them first generation guys from 79 to 84. You know, Too Short. People think Too Short is not like a lyrical person, but it's also how we see the term lyrical. Like me
Right.
and my homie Trap from ADHD, we always debate this, where they tried to kind of classify the word as a bunch of
words.
English devices. You know what I mean? Like how you use metaphors and similes versus, the definition of lyrics, which is writing something that people feel, that they connect with emotionally based off of what you wrote and delivered poetically.
Exactly.
So I think if he's comparing it to, somebody who might have had 30 syllable words in every line, every word is 30 syllable words, then you listen to the brilliance of Ice Cube. Even when Aries was saying that, and I like Aries, and I'm a fan of Aries. Obviously, I'm a fan of Ice Cube more.
He's funny. He's funny for sure.
Yeah. But it's like you even threw a shot at Dr. Seuss.
Yeah, you missed the boat.
You threw a shot at like one of the greatest poets and writers in the history of the world. And it's an arrogance that make you not see the genius in what Dr. Seuss do. Well, that same arrogance exists in a lot of people when they don't understand the brilliance of Ice Cube. His ability to translate, Los Angeles street urban culture to a worldwide audience and still speak the coded language, yet everybody who listens understands and gains a little bit more compassion for the things we're going through. You know what I mean? Like for him to explain his gripe, particularly with, like, let's say the JDL at the time, and it didn't cost him his career, let you know what type of poet he had to be to where they didn't just say, we're going to end your career like they did Kanye. Right. For him to voice his concerns about how Korean people were treating, people in our ghetto, and then they don't launch outrage at him and end his career, shows you the type of writer and the type of speaker and poet he is, to where people felt like, even with the disdain that he showed, it was enough reason for them to understand it. So if you don't get the brilliance of what Ice Cube does, it's just a preference thing.
And I agree with you, because my point is, if you want to know the true definition of great lyricism, rewind it and just take it back to poetry, right?
Yeah.
If anybody's been to a poetry lounge, any event about poetry, there are some people who are gifted at using words, using phrases, having cadence, things like that. And some people may get it, but the true essence and the meaning of having great lyrics is understanding. It has to click to somebody like, ooh, okay, I hear what you said there. That's fire. It will forever be the bottom line of true lyricism. If somebody understands it and it brings some chills on your skin, you're a great lyricist. This is how I feel. Because even, like, for instance, let's take Today Was a Good Day. Let's take Ice Cube's record. When the man said, messed around and got a triple double, let's go down the line of that. First off, he playing ball. Everybody knows that in that time, playing ball, that's a thing that niggas do, whether it's gangsters, ball players, it don't matter. But to get to play so good in a street ball game, that's equivalent to a triple double, which in that time wasn't something that happened often. We didn't have the Russell Westbrook
average a triple double for a season.
Right. So
Listen,
for you to get that mean that you was on your game, even if you think about the rims, like I'm an East Coast guy and West Coast, but if you think about the rims on the East Coast, the double rim. If you think about the rims on the West Coast, it's the rims that really don't have no net. So it's like you playing against odds. Ice Cube probably playing in Chucks. They still got their gun on them. You know what I mean? And you still get a triple
this
double.
is the
That's a real
definition of
thing,
lyric. A
right?
poem of a type that expresses the writer's emotions, typically briefly and in stanza or recognized forms. Like, so when people saying a lyricist, a person who does that, like once I have read the definition of lyrics, I realized Tupac was the greatest lyricist of my lifetime. Right.
Huh?
And
Shit.
before understanding definition, I wouldn't have thought that. Like I would have kind of looked for, technical devices when it comes to the English language. I would have
Mhm,
looked for who does
mhm.
the most similes, who does the most metaphors. I'd have looked for all of these things that are more reflective of an English teacher versus exactly what the goal of lyrics are.
There's a term for that. The term is wordsmith.
So
That's
I
the
agree.
term.
Thanks.
The
Wordsmith.
wordsmith is the one that's gonna flip the English language into
Sure.
so many levels. It's a skill set to do that.
And
People
it's
use
funny.
word. Go ahead. Go
And
ahead.
let me add this real quick, and I'm sorry. It's funny when you really think about it. When you really think about it, that's why the world connects with the definition of lyricist more, right?
Right.
Like a DMX, somebody
Mhm.
who could put you through so many emotional, you know, passageways.
Right.
Whether it's Pac who puts you through the most, right? Or
Right.
DMX, and you look at these are the people that were standing on stage with 60,000 people. Maybe they had issues in real life to where in Pac's situation, he got himself murdered and X situation, he had all kind of problems in the streets. That's why they are the greatest guys. And they're standing up there delivering their life, in a way that galvanizes the public. You know what I mean? Everybody just be enamored. It's people who live their life by the things that Tupac said. They tattoo his verses on their
Right.
body, man,
It's
as
a
a
real
scripture.
thing. It's a real thing. There's people in this world that are very gifted and technical at certain levels of whatever the expertise is. But guess what they always revert back to? They revert back to the people who make others feel a certain way. It's always been like that. The person who could make a crowd feel a certain type of way, like DMX would do a poem or would do a prayer and make everybody in the crowd cry.
Yeah.
That's a different type of
A
level.
lyrics. And that's
Lyrics.
lyrics.
You
And,
know what I'm
and I and I
saying?
heard K Solo say some shit that really hurt my feelings because K Solo is somebody that like I grew up having a lot of respect, and he referenced X like a loser. He said X was a loser. And I was like, yeah, that shit really bothered me. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Crazy.
we all on this quest for information. I mean, whether we know it or not, we are all on the quest for information. Sales are on the quest for information.
Right.
You're trying to pass information. So, like the more I look at things like that, and it makes Tupac and DMX and certain artists like to me, Jay is a specific. Jay is like Kareem with the hook shot. It's a specific motion all the time, but it's
Hmm.
consistent.
Consistent every
Snoop
time.
is the same way, right? Where
Right.
it's that smoothness about existing in a space to where everything is a little more nonchalant to deal with the things black people got to deal with in this country. But
Right.
you have the like I said, the Tupacs and the DMX where they could take you from here to here. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like you could feel
Hmm.
on your high or on your low with these type of acts. You know
Right.
what I mean? So
Right.
when I look at, like I said, what Ari's saying, it's like you don't have to prefer the brilliance of somebody like Ice Cube or Dr. Seuss. I mean, you don't
Right.
have to prefer it, but it's disingenuous to not recognize his true contribution. And maybe he also could be a little bit, more ridiculous. Like, hey, you know what? That's not my thing. And that's fine because he said that. But it's like when
Right.
you start to insult his writing ability, you're not the writer he is, bro. And y'all both
Right.
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 So
Exactly.
I can have critique for Drake, right? And talk about, culturally, the way he's doing his thing. But one thing I'm not going to play is what the type of writer he is.
That
Like, I'm
boy could
not
write.
going to play where he's brilliant at. And I can't just insult it because, it's easy to do at this point. Like,
Right.
the man in me not going to let me disrespect the things that I have the ultimate respect for.
Man, he first off, he's going to always be one of our elite writers of our time, because
Of all time.
Facts, because even with his approach to writing, remember, a lot of music, aside from like the L Cool J's of the world, the Slick Bricks of the world, a lot of the artists, the rappers, their approach to writing certain things usually come from either a braggadocious layout or from a layout of like, I'm going through something, but I'm powering through it. Drake is an artist that he completely, at least I would say, in the context of like relationships and dealing with women and things like that, he wrote from a very vulnerable perspective.
Yeah,
Like
an R&B fashion as a rapper.
Right. So, and it was exquisite. Like every time we heard about him talking about a new woman, a new situation, it was always unique, and it pulled everybody in, even me. Like I'm not gonna lie, I got a playlist of Drake, and most of the records is the records about the women and things like that. Like it's dope. So I'll always give him kudos for that. And I feel, once again, even with his music, the way he would approach his emotions in the music is elite. I would consider him an elite lyricist. Do we have artists, right? Do we have artists that have a great balance between emotion and being a wordsmith? Yes. Jada, I will call him one.
But I think Drake is that as well. Right. I mean, I think Drake is nice with technical devices when it comes to the English language, and he's not bad at conveying emotions and getting you to go where he wants you to go. I mean, I think he's one of the better guys to do that, for sure. And it shows as his records, how people relate to them.
Right. And I would even go back to, is that my phone?
No.
That's your phone. Oh.
My phone ringing?
All right, yours.
Oh, it ain't.
What is that? Oh, is that my joint? But don't worry about it. But as I will. Can you hear that?
No.
That's probably mine. Okay, so to go back to even K Solo, and I'll say this last thing before we get into this Dre and Quick joint. Even with K Solo, his brother Redman, I think the reason why people gravitated to Redman a lot more, and I love both of them, but the reason why they gravitated to Redman a lot more was because of the emotional element that Redman added to his music. You know what I'm saying? K Solo was, most of the time it was aggressive approach. Redman had an aggressive approach as well, but the way he used his voice, the way he used talking about certain situations, when he was on Superman Lover, he calmed it all the way down. So I think the one thing that I think K Solo is discrediting DMX for, I think that's the same element that he's lost, which didn't have him live up to his brother's layout. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion,
sure.
You know what I mean? Yeah. But let's get to this. You starting trouble again, man.
I don't know how I'm starting trouble.
Man, make sure y'all like and share the live, man. This Glasses starting trouble again. So
I don't know how I'm starting trouble.
There was a post. Who posted that? Did you post that or somebody posted that? But it was a post on Twitter. I'm gonna call Twitter. I don't care about this X stuff. Nah. Posted on Twitter that what did they say? Did they say the respect that Dre is getting is what Quik should be getting?
He's saying whatever you think Dr. Dre is, that's actually Quik.
Right. And Quik retweeted it or said something.
Somebody finally said it.
Somebody finally said it. Now, at least on the West Coast, I'll say, if you in the scene, you know about it. If you've indulged in West Coast hip hop for the past 20, 30 years, and you love our beloved producers, at some point in time, you've grown to learn that our producers are very vested in the quality of our hip hop music from the West Coast. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. The Inglewood side is coming out of me right now. You know what I'm saying? Let me
Go ahead. Cook, Wolf.
So you see that. I got the gang. I'll tell you
It's
about
all
the
good.
sweater
It's
in a
all
little
good.
bit.
The Mungie B coming out, the Big Y coming out. Go on, do your thing. All
You
good.
wildin'.
All the homies, bro. All the homies. All good.
Rest in peace, Y, man. Shout out to Mungie B.
That's
So there was this era of Dre. You know what I'm saying? And what people don't realize is if you do your
I don't
homework,
quite know which era. There's been a lot of eras of Dre.
right? There's been a lot of eras. Let's just start. Let's just start from not the inception, but the part where everybody started to notice that this is the man who's putting together stellar projects and taking the artist that he's working with to the next level. So that would be Chronic time. Let's talk about the Chronic time.
Skip straight out of Compton, huh?
I'm gonna skip that
Easy
for this. I'm gonna skip it for this reason only. I'm only gonna skip that.
DOC. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm
going to platinum albums, but go ahead.
I'm gonna skip that for this reason. For my point, this reason only. We all know that Dre was that, but in that time, we can respectfully say that NWA, that was the brand, and that's what everybody was clinging to, was the brand of NWA. When it got to Chronic, it's like Dre is spearheading this whole layout movement. But what people don't know is that DJ Quik was right over there doing the same thing. That's the point. Is that DJ Quik was right over there crafting and doing the same thing. When the Chronic dropped, it was a firecracker. It was crazy. And it was a collection of great artists, but it was a collection of also great producers too. Because Daz was there too. Daz was in the mix. And in the midst of that, there was a system that Dre put together, and it still happens to this day where there's other elements to his production that's not just him being in there making beats. He started that early.
But that's the same thing for Quik, right?
No, I'm going to get there. Let me land. Let me get there. You know what I'm saying? So that's a system that he put together. We also saw at the same time Warren G being an excellent producer as well. Did they get the necessary recognition at the time? No, because it was the one goal was somebody got to get hot. Somebody got to get on fire. DJ Quik, once again, was another producer that was working with him, probably not heavy, but he had his own agenda as well. And how he approaches music is kind of like Dre before, but one difference that I give it is DJ Quik, in my opinion, is musicianship first, then the other elements come after. He really get to the keys for real. Not taking nothing away from Dre, because Dre is a different type of producer. He's great at adding the necessary elements to bring it together. Because even when the Chronic, if you look at the back and you look at those credits, there's some of the beats were made by other people, but how he made it cohesive, little bit of this, little bit of that, is what makes him great. Quik has that same element, but Quik is more receptive to starting off and getting into his musicianship bag before he hits those other elements. There's some records that Quik produced that people don't even realize. So not fast forward, but just going through Snoop's album, going through the Dog Pound album. Quik was also on the other side being an artist and releasing his own music. So what Dre is doing for other artists and himself every now and then, he's rapping, doing his thing. Quik is doing it for himself and for other artists at the same time, making elite records. So when we come to this moment where, and we'll get to the other levels of their production greatness, but I wanted to start there because it's important to realize that Quik didn't come after Dre. They were on the same parallel journey at the same time. No. And stop me if I'm wrong.
No.
What do you think?
Dre came before Quik.
Yeah, Dre came before Jay. He came before Quick
He
with
was a
NWA.
multi-platinum. He was a multi-platinum producer by that time.
Right. I'm NWA time. I'm talking about from Chronic and DJ Quik from his first album.
No,
You get what I'm
I
saying?
understand completely. Like, but you kind of can't just do that. Um, Listen, me and Quick have had a lot of private conversations. I tried to avoid this conversation a million times because I don't want to talk publicly about things we talked about in private.
Of
But
course.
I'll tell you this much: Quick and Dre are not different at all when it comes to producing. When it comes to producing with people, they have the same program. They have the same program. They have the same program. And I think that's the point. I think uh, however Quick wants to feel specifically about his contributions and maybe being overshadowed by Dr. Dre, every producer in the history of hip hop feels overshadowed by Dr. Dre
Yeah,
because
because
Dr. Dre legitly overshadows every producer in hip hop.
but not just Dr. Dre. I mean, in those times, sometimes it was almost like there could only be one, like superstar status,
I don't
only
know.
one.
I think Quick's situation is different. I don't think it was about how good or bad the music was. I think is the connection, the culture, you know what I mean,
Right,
with opportunities. Like Dr. Dre and Snoop and them, the G Thing video is as iconic as the music, right? It's
right,
the first time people really saw lowriders in a music video on a mainstream level, right? So there's a connection. It goes into hip hop being a lot more street urban culture than just the art of sound, and
right,
making records. Is when you visually bring it to life. When you see, Snoop ironing some Dickies. When you see, them hopping in a lowrider and going to what looks like Kenneth Hahn Park and showing, people playing volleyball, having fun, and going to a party and it's a refrigerator full of 40 ounces. You know what I'm saying? I think
right,
that plays as much as a part in Dr. Dre success as the music does versus Quick, where I think it was always just music. I think
right,
that's the thing with Quick. It was always just music, right? Like even growing up, I don't quite remember videos where Quick has this cultural thing happening. You know what I mean? I remember the first time I saw the Tonight video, they were like in the field of flowers, and the
right.
whole screen I think was purple. And
Mm-hmm.
it was a very abstract video. And then you compare that to G Thing, and G Thing is like, Los Angeles street urban culture on steroids. And I think
Right,
that is really where the separation happens. I don't think the separation is in musical ability because I think Quick is a genius as Dr. Dre is a genius. You know what I mean? But I think when you start to look at somebody understanding street urban culture and representing the movement of we, not the movement of me, I think Dr. Dre did
right,
that more with his records. Excuse me, when he put out content with his records as well. When he, you see him on stage and they're at a liquor store, it's a lowrider on the stage. To me, he really, whoever it was, maybe it was Suge, but somebody, and maybe it was easy the first time, but somebody really understood the cultural appeal when it comes to hip hop. And Dre always listened. Dre always took notes. So if it's not him, he listened to whoever was telling him that.
right, right.
So I don't think it's music that separates them. I don't think it's music that separates them at all. I think it's everything else.
Well, for me, it's more so. I don't look at them as separate producers because, like you're right, they do the same thing. I'm For me, it's more so. I think the approach, and this happens a lot when someone makes an approach on a musical level as a musician. And I'm not saying that they can't do other things. I'm saying being a musician first, being like you said, the music first, and then somebody's looking at it from the perspective of like with Dre, it's like, yes, it's the music, but it's also the embodiment of who that artist is. What are we going for? What are we looking for? And then you got to take in consideration at the time the labels. I don't particularly know what was going on with the style of how the labels was promoting Quick or what they wanted to show from him. But we all know from the Death Row side, it's like, nah, we got to hit the nail on the head as far as what West Coast does in general. So I agree with that.
Sure.
I just look at go ahead.
I don't think it's either one. I think both of those guys specifically are music first. Dr. Dre is music first. Like Quick is music first. I think the separation is a Suge Knight.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And him taking heat to Suge Knight. I think the separation is Eazy-E and him listening to Eazy-E. I think is when he got to Jimmy Iovine, him listening to Jimmy Iovine, him trying Eminem. Like I'd never forget asking him, like, how did you know Eminem was gonna be big? And he was like, man, I didn't know. A little, that was Jimmy's idea. Or him telling me, asking him, like, man, how'd you know 50 was gonna work? Man, a little bird was on my shoulder and told me. I'm like, what? And he was like, nah, Eminem knew it. So for him to take those gambles because people around him see something that he may not see because he's music first, I think that worked out for him. But both of them are music first, though. Both of those specific two guys, being around them and being able to have conversations, they're music first. Both of those guys.
But do you think the chances of the artist that Dre picks, do you think that makes the difference in careers with Quick?
No, I think Sugar Free was spectacular.
No, for sure.
As a talent, I think if Sugar Free is Quick's answer to Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, I think they both got it right. And Snoop loves Free and Free loves Dogg. Like they're that type of talent, right? But it's everything else after the music, you know what I mean, is really where the separation starts to happen to the rest of the world. You know what I mean? For us here in LA, shit, man, we like street gospel as much as we like doggy style.
Just as much as we love Mossberg.
Right now, you gonna hear my generation is gonna play
100%.
While You Bullshitting. The next generation gonna play what's they song? It's another song. Some people gonna play Stay Ready. Like, you know what I mean? So we see the same thing. It's everything outside of the music and outside of LA that starts to separate them.
But but still, even with picking artists, I still think that there's a level of where your career can go based on the artist that you pick, because Sugar Free, Mossberg, AMG, these are artists that some of my favorite music come from these same artists. But look at the vast difference of style of artists when you're dealing with 50, Eminem.
But I think but that's after you get 10 plus years in. Like if you look at the Second None, that was his Dog Pound. If you look at Sugar Free, that was his Snoop Dogg. If you look at AM, like he's had all of the things around him. It's not that, it's just everything. Once culture kicks in, once people start to understand everything else is street urban culture, I think one kind of decided that they was going to take the Quick is more of a to me, culturally, he's more of a player. His style is more of a player.
Right.
Versus Dre is more of the Los Angeles gangster. Quick is more of the Los Angeles player. You know what I mean? So there's a different thing to show there that could be, more addictive. Like I said, I can't think of one video Quick ever had a lowrider in his video.
No. Well,
not one. You know what I'm saying? My favorite DJ Quik video is the one that came out where he sampled the Pet Cemetery. I think that's Angela Renee.
Oh, yeah, Angela Renee, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep. And it's like, that's my favorite video from DJ Quik. It came out probably 12 years ago. So I think it's like, I think when they start to kind of separate to the rest of the world, because to us, it's the same shit.
It's for sure,
like
100%. Even the sound design.
I'm just in awe creatively when I listen to Rhythmalism as I am listening to 2001, right?
I think Rhythmalism, I think that's one of the best engineered sound design albums ever.
Same for 2001.
Like, for real. Yeah, no,
Same
for sure.
2001, right?
Yeah.
But again, look, I don't know if I'm out of line for saying this, and Dre probably email me and cuss me out if I am, but I think a lot of things Quik has done has been a muse for Dr. Dre. Like I think Dre looks to Quik with a different respect, and obviously, it don't seem like Quik had the same
Right.
respect. But
Right.
you know what I mean? I think that's what it is, and I think Dre is more. He understands this is a like if nobody gets hip hop, even if there's a question about how he sees certain things when it comes to street urban culture, he understands it's a we thing. He understands it's a we thing better than most people I've ever met in the history of hip hop. Somebody as successful and as brilliant and as ingenious as Dr. Dre understands it's a we thing more than a me thing. That
Right.
is not standard in successful hip hop people.
Right.
They will immediately get to thinking it's me. Dre has understood it's a we thing every turn. And that's to me speaks that's why he's so successful. It's always a we thing. It's always a what can I do for you? I'll try this. This may not work out, but I'll try this. Because Jerry got as many fails as he got his makes. But guess what? That motherfucker
Yeah.
always shooting. He always
Yeah.
shooting, and it ain't the shot he always necessarily want to take. Snoop brought Dre Exhibit. Snoop. People don't know that. That's a double platinum album. Dre bought him. Jimmy bought Dr. Dre Eminem.
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, let's go back to the Exhibit thing. I'm not gonna lie. When I seen that layout happening, I love Exhibit still to this day.
Great guy. One of my favorite people.
Yeah. I was mad at that play when it first happened. Let me tell you why. Exhibit was, the foundation, so many paparazzi. Like he was the artist for me that wasn't, in my opinion, I could be wrong, totally wrong about it. But he was the artist that almost like Razzcast, like you're a part of the culture and the gangsterism, but you don't necessarily fully engage in it. But you're about hip hop lyricism, and there was really treading the line. So I love that. In my opinion, I thought that when he started working with Dre and Snoop, and this is before I heard any record, I was mad because I was like, nah, now you about to do gangster. What's going on?
Yeah, but you don't think even in that reserves that there's a level of prejudice that you believe is happening. Like it's a prejudice that you're taking toward, like
100%.
I don't feel like Exhibit. Okay, I understand there were some records that were made for us more than they were at first. But I don't feel like Exhibit slacked off. But the real connection is Snoop being the type of MC he is to give Exhibit, for him to see Exhibit on TV and was like, man, I'm gonna put him on No Limit Top Dog. Let me get him on the phone. Hey, what's up, homie? Man, I want you to beat. That's MC seeing MC. Right. That's Dog seeing Exhibit as a qualified MC. I want to put you on this song. And hooking him, look, him walking directly into Dre, like, hey, call Dre so y'all can make it happen.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then you come into the studio and meeting Dre, which is life altering for you at this point. That's the correlation to MC. And that's why I keep saying when y'all say gangster rap, y'all don't respect the MC in gangster rap. But every MC in gangster rap, especially in this foundation, is really credible as MCs.
Yeah, I can admit when I'm wrong. I was totally wrong. I was given off a perceived notion that I didn't realize. And you gotta keep in mind, I'm still at that time engulfing myself in West Coast culture again, because where I previously grew up at. So in the midst of that, it's like I was mad. But then when I started hearing the records, I'm like, oh, this is something that we needed that we didn't know we needed. Yeah. And then that's what started to, in my opinion, merge, the other, the Mitchie Slicks, the Crondons, the Alcoholics, and along with the Corrupts and the, the all these different type of other art. It's more like a great gumbo pot that people can't separate. It's coming together even more. And there's a lot of other instances where artists like Exhibit that may not do a particular certain style merges with another art. Like even with Snoop working with No Limit, like it started to become even more of like a melting pot that we all can appreciate now. But I ain't gonna lie, I was mad in the beginning. I was pissed.
Sure,
You know.
sure. But back to the Quik and Dre thing, I think it separates after the music.
Right.
I think that's where, you know, what's underestimated about Dre and his reverence is not just through the music. It's greater than that. He's a cultural phenom internationally.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Even to sometimes I think to his own, he don't necessarily appreciate it to me as much, which is, you know, I don't know if it's fair for me to say that about Dr. Dre, but I don't think he really, you know, gets how much he's valued culturally.
He definitely
You know what I'm
is.
saying? And that's really important. So again, this is a cultural movement. Like I've always said, hip hop, you know, even the best Quik records, they're not George Clinton. You know what I'm saying? It's not like necessarily about just musicianship. There's a cultural thing happening, especially in hip hop. And if you're not mindful of the movement of we, like if it's all about you and me, I mean, or you know what I'm saying? If it's just a me movement, you may miss out on something fantastic that you could connect human beings into, you know what I mean? And the rest of the world can plug into it too. And I think that's kind of where, you know, if Quik feels like he's not respected, and that's fair because he is that type of musical genius, it's just hip hop ain't just about music.
Yeah, I agree with. You know, me, I've studied both, especially with the sound design. You know, being able to take a record from its, you know, beginning and turn it into something that's pleasurable, not just quality wise, but also like they're both great at setting records. It feels like the time period that they're going for. You feel what I'm saying? It's especially when they're working with a particular artist that got a certain sound. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, that's what I love. The one thing I will say is though, I although maybe, and I don't know for sure, I have no clue. You know more than I do. Although Quik may feel like he's not getting that particular love that he so rightfully deserves, I think it's on its way. I think it's on its way.
But you could never give somebody the love they deserve. Can he get more love? Sure.
Well, I'll say this. That's half true. I'm saying the love that would put Quik, because we all know the West, we know to put Quik in the same conversation as Dre. We know that. I think the rest of the world needs to realize that. So when I say the respect he deserved, I mean in that context, when we had these conversations for the next 10 to 15 years, that people know to put Quik's name along with Dre, along with Puff, along with Pharrell. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's what I mean when
it's always Dre and everybody else.
There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with that. There's definitely nothing wrong with that. I'm not negating that at all.
I'm just saying it's not a shadow he cast over Quik. It's a shadow he cast over hip hop.
Hip hop, right?
This is somebody who was making records in 82 and 83. Like I was listening to Surgery the other day, and I was like, man, this record is good. And this is a world-class record crew where it's like Surgery, and the song is a Dr. Dre. It's Dr. Dre Surgery, right? World-class record crew. Like he made a record and they shot a video for it in 82, 83. Like this is how far he's been out. He's, you know, it's a song called Killer Dayton. That's a Los Angeles classic that came out in the mid-80s. He produced on it. Like he helped Candyman. Like this guy is somebody that's been at the foundation of West Coast hip hop establishing itself.
Right.
You know what I mean? He's, you know, he's a decade probably older than Quik, and he's probably, you know, 5-6 years ahead starting when it came to making records. So it's like, it's hard for anybody in hip hop. You know, the guys that would have been able to compete, Larry Smith, you know, Rick Rubin, the guys who had been around as long as him, you know what I mean? Like they stopped making records for people, or like Larry passed away, or Rick became an executive. Dr. Dre making records right fucking now. Dr. Dre is making records for people, right? Dr. Dre just executive produced a Snoop Dogg album. Where is the new DJ Quik album? Where's the new Sugar Free Quik album? You know what I mean?
Man,
this is my point. This is what makes this is where Dre really is special. This is he lives and breathes this shit right now. Right now, he just put out a Snoop Dogg produced album.
Listen, that Marsha Ambrosia, that was the one.
Yes. He's still trying to put out records that's going to reshape the business. And, again, you're talking about 40 years. You know what I mean? So I get Quik plight as his natural ability to create as a creator. But it's not necessarily, and maybe he's right. Maybe the average person thinks Dr. Dre is just respected because he's a creative, right? But then now I'm telling you exactly why he's respected. He's respected because he's a fucking animal. He's a real workhorse, bro. And he's going to keep working. Rest assured, he's going to find something because he don't stop working. He got all that money and still working. He's not even doing concerts. He's still working. He's still making records right now with people. Like right now, we talking. I'm like, man, I need to do a record. He's like, we could do a record. Like, why are you still doing records with all of these records? He didn't broke 10 out. He didn't broke 10 artists.
He did that. I mean, both of them, in my opinion, at this point, they can't do no wrong. They did what they were supposed to do for us. They did that. Everything else now is, in my opinion, is pet projects. Everything else now is do it because you feel it. You know what I mean?
Man, fuck that. Hell no.
No,
I need the new Sugar Free DJ Quik album.
Because you being greedy. That's why you being greedy.
Guess who set the bar?
No,
Guess who set the bar?
Right. I will say this though.
Guess who set the bar?
Oh, of course, Dre set the bar. Of course.
You just did a Snoop Dogg album, right? 40 years later.
But I don't. Okay, so I'll say this. I don't feel like I need a new Sugar Free and Quik album, but this is what I do need. This is what I feel like we do need. We need the DJ Quik and whomever else fits the bill. Case in point, when Quik and Problem did the Rosecrans joint, that's what I need. I'm not saying it got to be Problem. I'm saying I want to see.
Look, I love when restaurants establish new things on the menu. But I really like when they put the Big Mac on discount.
Nah. You
can never get tired of it. You can never get tired. You can never get tired of DJ Quik and Sugar Free. It's impossible.
Right. But you from the chili cheese fries era. You gonna like what you like no matter what. It don't matter. I'm saying
no. It's a California classic.
That's what I'm saying. You from the chili cheese fries era. You from the pastrami era. So you want the classics.
If Dr. Dre could be out 40 years and put out a Snoop Dogg album, hell, it's not too much to ask for Quik and Sugar Free to put out an album.
No, we need the Quik and G Perico album that got Sugar Free on there. That's what we need.
No, I don't want that.
That's what we need.
No, I want Perico to find his own DJ Quik.
I agree with that, but
it wouldn't be wrong to do what? Forgive me, I take that back. If they want to do that, I'm down and I buy it. But God damn it, I want Free and Quik. Because guess what? That's an American classic.
I'm being greedy, Glasses.
That's a double-double.
Right, but
Free and Quik. Listen, if Snoop and Dre is the Big Mac, Free and Quik is the double-double.
Oh, okay, quick question. Do you want Street Gospel 2 or you just want another album from both of them?
I can't imagine it's gonna be nothing. Look, I don't care what.
Don't ask for Street Gospel 2. Don't ask for that.
I'm not.
For a new. Okay, I respect that because Sugar Free is still rapping at a very high fucking level.
Best 16 in the game.
He going nuts.
Best 16 in the game.
I do question some of the production and the approach to the song sometimes.
Because Quik is not.
You know out there, Glasses. You know out there.
Look,
I think everybody will enjoy that.
If Snoop and Dre is the Big Mac, Biggie and Puff are the Whopper.
Right.
Quick and Free are the double.
Double. That's a
That
fact.
is a West Coast like lined up. That's what I want. That I think it's fair to ask for that. That look, Dre is setting the bar. Dre been around before everybody, and he's still putting out records. Shout out to Pharrell. Guess what?
Pharrell going nuts.
He came back.
Hey,
VA came back. Hold up, that's the South, right? The South came back with fried chicken. The Clips and Pharrell is a 2-piece from Kentucky. Look, I like Pharrell working with everybody else too. That's the Colonel. He can season all these people food, but ain't nothing like him and the Clips. Nothing.
Listen, I'm so happy that Pharrell did that for this one reason. Everybody loves Pharrell, but the one thing that people was starting to question is if he got that the shit that he gave Clips. They were questioning if he still got that, and he slapped these niggas in the mouth.
I think right now is the perfect time for everything that's ever been classic in hip hop to happen again. Right now. Hell, I would like to see Dre and Snoop load up and do it again. See if you can nail it. It's okay if it was a little curve. It wasn't in the strike zone.
It was a curve.
Guess what? Throw another pitch.
Yeah, for sure.
We're not doing nothing else, you rich motherfuckers. Make some records for us. You know what I mean? Right. Look, Manny Fresh and Juvenile is jambalaya.
Oh yeah, they coming out with some new shit too. They finna go crazy.
That's jambalaya. Manny Fresh and Lil Wayne is charbroiled oysters. That ain't even actually Manny Fresh and Lil Wayne is a seafood boil. You just can't go wrong. You know what I mean? Hey. Like it's nothing wrong with going to the fundamentals. And that's where I respect Dre more than ever. It's fundamentals. He stay with the fundamentals. He perfects. It's all technique. He perfects his fundamentals. And that's what we should want our legends to keep doing as they blaze a trail for us to walk in. Now, I'm mad I never got me a Dr. Dre or I never got me a DJ Quik like Free and Dog. I wish maybe Toomp was it and I missed the opportunity, even though he's from the South. Maybe because I got a couple great records with him. I don't know. But I'll tell you one thing, when you got a double-double, like Free and Quik together, that's a double-double. That's a double-double.
I believe in that.
We wait in line for the double-doubles, man. Every day you pass by In and Out, but you get there in the middle of the day, that line is out the driveway.
If you don't get nothing else, you got to get that number one with the grilled onions or the extra raw onions. I'm not disagreeing with you.
Chilies.
I guess all we saying is Quik got work to do, because although the classic, we definitely want that, but when I hear some of these artists, I just keep hearing Quik. I keep hearing
a compilation with some of these niggas. Yeah, I'm not saying that. I think that's dope. Maybe Quik and Dre need to put together compilations for all the future West Coast. I don't think that's his responsibility. I think that's more mustard stuff. You can't ask these dudes to keep. Yes, I can, but I can't keep asking them to break everybody. Dr. Dre done broke 10 people.
I'm not saying necessarily breaking somebody.
But some of these people need to be broke. You name it. Perico,
relax.
He would need to be broke.
No, I agree with that. But see, that's what I mean. Like, okay, I'm talking about making these. It got to be a project. Hearing Perico, there's something that he needs to experience. It may not even just be about Quik. In my opinion, it's something that I feel like he needs to experience from these producers that we love so much. But that's what I mean about.
But I don't think the connection is in. Now this is gonna sound crazy because there was a time I did, but the connection isn't in Quik and Perico. The connection is in Quik and Steels.
Okay, I believe
the guy producing for Perico. The connection is in Quik and Jay Nari. That's the connection.
I mean, even if it's being approached in the executive producer light, what I'm saying is the way that Dre and Quik touch records, we need more of that.
Yeah, but but
for
but
our
that's
West
them
Coast
taking
energy.
that's them taking producers under their wings.
Yeah, that makes
Like
sense. That makes sense.
you take producers under your wing.
Right,
Warren G, Battle Cat, take producers under your wing and connect it and make it make sense. But
right.
again, man, Battle Cat and Corrupt, that's
That's
it.
magic. That's magic. That's magic.
That's a chili cheese fries.
That's magic.
Some
That's
great
magic.
things came from that.
That's
Some
magic.
amazing things came from them two together. That's like Dre is like Dre got this thing with Snoop where they make the best burger in the history of burgers, right? It's Big Mac, it's most selling burger. And then he could get with Battle Cat and make, a Dave's double. He can make a Dave's single, a Dave's double. Like it's still so right now, all our legends, they have to just get back into making records if they care about making records. You know what I mean? I think that's a journey to have. And I think
that's the question.
But I think as far as Dre and Quick specifically, you know what I mean? You're talking about the separation is not in music. And I think that's kind of where I think Quick understands maybe Interscope could been a little bit better than Profile, but it's not. Quick is listening to Eazy-E as a marketing person. It's listening to Suge Knight as a marketing person. It's listening to Jimmy Iovine. You know what I mean? It's understanding the movement of we, like showing us, not just him. You know what I mean? And I think that's where people who understands that this is a cultural thing, you know what I mean? And it's in culture meaning we as a movement, the people who understand that the most do the best. YG is a prime example.
Yeah.
YG understands it's about we, and he does a great job of showcasing we. Nip used to understand that, the we, you know what I mean? So connecting the we, and I think that's where I think Quick thinks, if I had to have an opinion on his thoughts, which I don't know, I've had conversations with him again, but it's not the music. Quick's music is more than great enough. It always has been.
Right. No, I agree with that. I do got to ask this question. And I want you to really think about this. If you need time to think about this, it's okay. We'll come back. Let's say for the sake of debate, you are right in front of Quick right now, right? You're right in front of him. Y'all having a conversation, y'all cooling, playing beats and everything, boom, boom, boom. Let's put on the Glasses Malone A&R executive producer hat. Let's put that on real quick. Name 5 artists that you would tell Quick right now, old or new, I don't care. Name 5 artists that you'd be like, yo, you need to get a record with them. You need to get in with them. And I don't care what style. I don't care what flavor. Quick. This is Quick. Yo, if you had to say, hey, if Quick told you, hey, I want to power up, I want to get back in this thing. What are 5 artists that I should just
first one? Quick should produce a Quick album.
Okay, there you go. Talk your shit. Let's go. What would it be called? Really quick, hold on. What would it be called?
I don't know. You figure out some crazy name.
Yeah, okay. Go ahead. Okay.
Second, Quick and Sugar Free.
Okay, go ahead.
Just Quick and Second to None.
Okay, there you go. You going classic.
Quick and the Penthouse Players. Don't get your ham album.
You try to go crazy. Crazy.
Guess what? Quick and AMG.
Quick and AMG. We need that.
I told you X one. Quick and High C.
Oh, so you going all classic?
Why would I play?
Okay.
I'm executive producing. I'm A&R. I want people to buy it. I want people to be into it. Guess what? I'm gonna go with what I know people love.
So no new niggas, no new singer, no new rapper, no new nothing.
Not a soul.
You wow.
I don't really care to hear him with nothing new.
What? You crazy?
I just don't.
No Quick and Jane Hancock?
No.
Why not?
I mean, I'm just getting into Jane shit. I want to make sure I get into her producer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And figure out what's going on, figure out what I like. And when they come with that combination, I want them to stick with that combination. But look, at the end of the day, I think Quick has a great thing going. And I think that him and his camp, they have work to do. Now, if he wants to produce and take on some young spud and do his thing, I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's a different type of challenge. But I'll tell you one thing, quick and free is money in the bank. Quick and quick is money in the bank. Quick and second to none is money in the bank. Quick and High C is good money. Quick and AMG, they got a couple different records together. It's some money. Let's get to it.
I'm glad you said that, because after listening to this Tyler last album, right? Don't Touch the Glass.
Tap.
I heard 2 records on there, and just by you saying AMG, I'm like, damn, them niggas would have sound beautiful on 2 of these records. They would have went nuts, because that album is a blend. It's a dance album blend between hip hop, pop, trance, a little bit of everything, but it's upbeat. It feels like hip hop in the days where it's like, no, let's have fun, let's enjoy ourselves. That's what it feel like.
Hip-hop.
But when you said AMG and High C, them niggas would have murked to it, at least 2. You know what I mean? So I'm saying that to say I would love. Those artists are perfect. I would love to hear him on something like that, or I would love Quik to do a record with what's the dude? And I'm sorry if I'm the dude with the big nose that be winning all the Grammys. What's his name, man? The
big
singer.
Winning Grammys.
He got like dreads that go high to the. What's his name, man? But he be playing the piano. His name is John something, man. I forgot his name, but he's an exceptional like everything artist. But I would love to hear Quik produce him and do some crazy shit with him too, because he be into the funk as well. He into a lot of funk, gospel, and soul. Damn, what's his name, man? If y'all know his name in the chat, yo, put the name in the chat. I think his name is like John. I remember. But all I'm saying is I would love to hear him on one of our premier soul artists. You know what I'm saying? I would love to hear him with even what's her name? Janelle Monáe. I would love to hear Quik on some Janelle Monáe. I would love to hear that, man. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not mad, man. Listen. You might could throw some chicken strips on that double. It might hit. Maybe a little barbecue sauce. I ain't tripping. I'm just saying. You asking me my opinion. I like at this point in life, we ain't got to gamble no more. It's all security, baby. It's all good money. You ain't got to keep trying to develop your game. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But look, go with what work. Shoot the fadeaway.
Right.
That's if you got the hook shot, man, hook that motherfucker 20 times a game. It's cool. We gonna fuck with it. So I think that's the best.
I remember you saying something a while ago. I think we had a conversation, and we were talking about it being the new producer's fault. Excuse me, that the West Coast hip hop is not flourishing the way it should be. That the producers weren't producing these artists the way they should. Right.
A little bit like that, but a little bit more.
Right.
It's like we missed the ratchet wave. Our ratchet wave would have dominated if Ty was also in that fold of making music for everybody. Like if Ty would have been being an artist and making beats for everybody, we would have had a dominant. We would have snatched it from everybody. We was a producer short. Shout out to Hit Boy. Shout out to League of Stars. Shout out to Mustard. Right. But if we'd had Ty, man, we would have probably broke 6 or 7 new artists, 8 artists at that time.
Ty was another beast.
And we'd have been on another golden era of West Coast hip hop. So hip hop is definitely a DJ / producer's game.
Right.
Rappers is always secondary, even if they confuse themselves to be in the front.
And when you said that not too long ago, we just witnessed the effect of somebody like Mustard doing what you said these producers should do. And when I tell you, nobody could have anticipated how high that record got.
I did.
When it's crazy. I predicted it would win Grammy.
I tell Punch all the time, when they get together, it's gonna make the biggest record of his career.
It's crazy. I mean, I said it was gonna win Grammy. I got timestamp where I said it was gonna win a Grammy, and it won more than just a Grammy. It won multiple. But I'm saying that to say, who do you think is our? And I'm not saying in terms of style, but I'm saying in terms of like impact of how you deal with artists. Who is our next Dre and Quik in the context of who will we be looking to
Mustard and Hit
continue
Boy.
that wave?
Mustard and Hit Boy. We just watched it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you just watched it with Mustard and Hit Boy. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
the version of Dre and Quik, where it's like, you know, people gonna have a different reverence for Hit Boy for the rest of his life. He just got some really big songs too, but his second run post Good Music has been incredible. And Mustard is probably the second most accomplished in the history of West Coast hip hop.
That's a fact.
You know what I mean? So it's like, if you breaking people, it's special. You know?
Right.
If you're breaking people, it's special.
Mustard had, I mean, even with his run of working with certain artists, like, you know, he did his thing. Like each artist, whether they're with him now or not, have a platform to excel on. Whether they do it is totally up to them. I'm really anxious to see where he continues and what he does. You know what I'm saying? Because I remember when we first started cooking up records for people. Like, you got to realize this is somebody who worked his ass off that at that time didn't have some of the capabilities that the other producers had, but he was determined, completely determined.
And he was a DJ.
A full DJ, which
and that's everything in hip hop.
Yeah,
a DJ beats a piano player every day of the week in hip hop.
If you know what's popping, you could always create something that'll be great. That's for sure. Yeah. That's for sure. Hit Boy, another one of those. He's one of those guys where it's like, let's make a whole project. Like, you know, it's funny because when he works, it's like once you start one record, you might as well just go on and just do the whole thing, because the greatness is in the body of work, and also the studio element and etiquette of working with set producers, which I think a lot of producers from all areas don't realize how important that is to the success of the record, and the feel of how people receive the record, is being in that studio, working through every, you know, snare and clap and kick, and, you know, having conversations with the artist at the same time to bring out the best in what you're about to do for them. You know what I mean? I think that's a lost art, and it needs to be implemented. Like, this is the day of, like, I'm gonna send you some beats, pick what you like, and send me the files. You know what I mean?
They got to get back in the kitchen and cook. You know what I mean? They got to stop taking that processed food, trying to serve that processed food.
Come on,
get back to fitting things for artists. Fit it. You know what I mean? Fit it like a suit. Tailor that thing down. Stop making that processed food. Got to cook.
Right.
Got to cook.
Right. DJ Quik, I got to do more. At least 2 new artists. You know what I'm saying? 2 new artists. I got to stand.
He never do a new artist again in life.
I got to stand.
I don't care about none of that shit. Look, there was a moment I think that mattered, but that moment is dead. And you know what I mean? I think that moment is really not as important. I think right now it's up to the younger producers to connect with DJ Quik and get some knowledge, and then produce their next artist. I think you have to get back to, you know what I mean? You got to get back to that. You got to get back to producers, you know what I mean, being a thing. And you know, it's not fair for us to keep leaning on these guys who've been breaking artists. Like, it's cool, but like a lot of times, Dre owed me a beat. I always say that. And I'm not even caring about collecting anymore. It's like, dog, you didn't pay your dues to everybody. Like, I figured it out on my own. You know what I'm saying? I figured it out.
Well, for me, it's more so I just look for the joy in somebody like Quik or Dre or anybody legendary just wanting to do it again. I think that's the reason why I'm so happy for Pharrell, is because he just wanted to give his boys another banger. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I want Quik to do with Free.
That's what he did. That's
what I want Quik to do for Free. I want Quik to be like, you know what? I don't like all these niggas producing for the nigga that I made records for.
Right.
Like, that's what motivated Snoop. Like, Dre was like, man, you got all these records with all these niggas. You got, man, let's do a record. I need Quik to see Free and be like, damn, man, like, you know, all these niggas, they ain't doing it right. This how you do Sugar Free.
Right. Now I gotta ask though, Sugar Free, his persona, his energy, his lyricism in today's climate.
Perfect.
You think so? You
Yeah, the
think?
Bears made heaven, man. Every time
Okay.
a Sugar Free verse go live, it goes viral. People just
Yeah,
ain't
no,
had that
that's for
energy,
sure.
man.
That's for
People
sure.
ain't had that unapologetic masculine energy, outlaw. I'm living how I live and I'm funny, but I'm still serious. You know, we don't have that
Mhm.
space. Ain't no more Married with Children. That nigga was like the rap Al Bundy.
Al Bundy, man, it's my nigga,
You know what
B. I'm
I'm
telling you.
saying? So
No,
I
you're right.
think
You're
it's
right.
time, man. I think it's time, you know, God willing, we do get it. You know what I mean? I would love for Quick to sit down with Free and them make 9 or 10 songs and just put it out for us. You know what I mean? I think it'll be
Mhm.
great for us. I think it'll be great for them.
Should other legendary producers search for those elements of doing, records with the artists that they did records with before?
Hell yeah, Battle Cat and Corrupt. You know what I mean? Battle Cat
Mhm.
and Battle Cat and the East Siders. You know, Battle Cat and
Mhm.
Snoop. Whole project finally. Not share nothing
Right.
with nobody. Y'all just do it together. Just y'all two. You know what I mean? I don't want no extra people. Just leave it like that. It was good. I don't want no. I don't want no teriyaki sauce on the burger, bro. Just you know, onion rings is fine. Stop pushing it. Just leave
Right,
it a
right.
burger. You know what I
I
mean?
do got to ask this question because I was actually gonna call you about this too. Um, do we need a genre break? Let me explain. You know, for the past, I would say 2.5 years, we have been experiencing some great hip hop from our legends, right? The bad part about it is it's our legends trying to play the current game, whatever it's supposed to be, right? Do we need like a genre break of like uh contemporary hip hop or
My man Twine Mac, rest in peace, from
because I'm not
Milwaukee.
mad at that.
He wanted to do adult contemporary hip hop. And
Mm-hmm.
I remember being vehemently against that.
Mm-hmm.
And I still am. But look, if the legends, shout out to Arrested Development who just put out an album. It's the second
Right.
time I mentioned this speech.
I'm about to
Arrested
tell.
Development, adult contemporary hip hop. That album is out. Y'all go check that out. I don't want people to think we don't love our legends because speech was like, ain't nobody talking about. I'm talking about a speech. It was a brainchild of my man Twine Mac from Milwaukee. That was
Mhm.
his movement. I hate the idea of it. Like, there's no adult contemporary. I mean, I think they tried to do AC rock, but I just think that
Yeah, they do AC rock
I,
and they
I think you
do
don't need that. I do think you need the kids to
R&B.
look up to a real energy. You know what I mean? I don't
Mhm.
think you need to separate it with kids need to be like, well, that ain't for me. It's no, this
Mhm.
for you. The clips is for you, my boy.
Mhm.
The clips is for you. That Raekwon is for you. That's what you should sound like growing up. You
That
know what I mean?
Ray.
I always looked up to older homies. I didn't need nobody that was my age. I had older homies I looked up to. You know what I mean? I looked up to the older homies. You know what I mean? That was players. So, I think Mac 10 could do some really good stuff. I mean, I think these people could do some great stuff.
Right. You know, I'm on the fence with it. I'm actually leaning towards it. Um, I think when it comes to hip hop, I think categorizing and usually these categories is really based mainly off of how radio would play records, right? You know what I mean? It's mostly off of that. Other than that, it's like now streaming, you can do whatever you want. But if it comes into the concept of like, accolades or uh just the way people consume the genre, I wouldn't mind breaking it up. I wouldn't mind because at least I know like and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying age should differentiate the genre only. I think there should be other key elements that makes it, whether it's rap hip hop
No, no.
or
Twan
adult
Mac used to say all the
contemporary.
time the layer of the conversation, but I think if you start to separate it, you kind of take it away from the kids. If you put adult contemporary, kids kind of may dismantle for that. They shouldn't have to look for wisdom. I think it's important to keep wisdom right at the forefront of hip hop.
Mhm.
The Clips album could have been adult contemporary. I didn't want that. I want
Yeah, yeah.
kids to hear, Push and Malice talking about their mom, you know what I mean, and their father passing away because
Mhm.
that's happening to kids. You know what I mean, I
Right.
want them to get baptized with that wisdom. I don't want it separated. That's just my opinion. But Twine Mac is my man, and he wanted it. So if it happened, I'd be happy anyway.
Well,
That'd be
even
like, something
like
that happened to him.
even for me, it's like even my kids, right? It's funny because we be having song battles all the time. Like, I'll that little story thing that you got like in the DMs where at the top you could put a song and put a quote or whatever. So my youngest, he's usually on Instagram more than my oldest, but I would look and he'll post like Soul For Real Candy Rain. I'm like, nigga, what you know about that? And then the other day he posted Mobb Deep Shook Ones. I said, all right, now you wildin'. I said, now I gotta
now imagine now see that's I don't want to take away from your son.
Right.
Like I feel like that's the issue now where you have some kid, discrediting Nas because his music is not being pushed into hip hop, into the space. And now I think we need to push harder to push Raekwon into the space, harder to push Nas into the space because the kids could benefit, young people could benefit from that type of wisdom. I mean, I couldn't imagine my life without having, growing up, Cube is older than me by 10 years.
Right.
I couldn't imagine my life without having Cube or Dre, who's older than me by, 17 years, 16, 17 years. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to imagine my life without having that type of wisdom, going on in my world, even the older people, you know what I'm saying? Like you need that. It's what made me the man that I am. It's why I have this maturation when I speak, even as I grew up finally. If I would have just been listening to fucking, you know what I mean? Like, what was my age that came out? You know what I'm saying? Like, well, I was listening to, who was out, when I was, Caution was cool. I had Caution too.
Hey, that Caution album was a sleeper.
Yeah. But I had Ice Cube too. You know what I mean? I had them dudes that was 10 years. Mac 10, just about 10 years older than me. I'm glad I had that wisdom passed down from somebody who had been on this planet Earth longer than me. So I wouldn't want it separated because I feel like younger people could benefit from somebody. Like right now, somebody 25 could get so much gain from me, way more gain than they can get from me at 35. And I'm still that type of guy that where it ain't going to get too far apart from what you living your life from. You know what I mean? Yeah. But guess what? I can give you some wisdom that somebody 25 can't give you. I can give you wisdom somebody 35 can't give you. And that's what I'm selling. That's what's for sale anyway. That's what you get when you listen. You get somebody telling you, you know what I'm saying? Like Orange Ruffy. I don't eat tilapia. I eat Orange Ruffy or sea bass and yellow tuna steak. You know what I mean? Tilapia is never on my plate. You know what I mean? You get somebody giving you grown wisdom. Hey, put your bone in, cook your steak medium. You know what I mean? You get wisdom from somebody who's been living and been around this earth a couple times. And I believe that somebody 25 could listen to me and really be like, man, this nigga is on what I'm on. Because we ain't on nothing different. You try and get some money, right?
There you
try and get some money, right? You trying to be a man, right? You trying to raise your kids, right? You trying to buy some property, right? You trying to, you trying to hit the boulevard and impress your peoples, right? Like we on the same timing, So it's like it's a wisdom to share, and I feel like it's important that hip hop, we're not like these other genres. We don't grow up and disassociate ourselves from the youth. We grow up and still be them guys.
And that's funny that you say that because I make sure I do my due diligence with my kids because they hip hop babies. I mean, I tell them all the time. They get mad at me, but I'm like, yo, Makai was created in the booth and Zaya was created by the mixing board. This is true facts. It's a real thing. You know what I'm saying? And they get mad at me, but it's like I'm saying that foul shit to say this. You're hip hop babies. I'm gonna always show you the way how I grew up. I'm gonna show you the ways how you could expand this culture, even if you don't do music. The music appreciation for me is enough for me. Because I remember when my dad used to bring home the records, you know what I'm saying, from the Bobby Womack's to the Teddy P's, all the way down to the Judy Brochure and and Bob Marley. Like the music appreciation is what keeps everything going. So that's why I say, like, even now, like when I drive them to school, I'm playing anything. I might play John Mayer. I'm gonna play Old Dirty Bastard. I'm finna play Gerald Albright. I'm gonna play some jazz. I play everything because I want them to understand the difference between appreciating music that it's not our culture and how it feels when you are listening to music that's our culture. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, it's like I still play records that they be listening to. I might play some shit that they be like, man, what you know about that? It just came out. I'm like, what you mean? I'm a hip hop daddy. I know what the fuck was going on. You know what I'm saying? And I want that to spread throughout like everywhere. Like you said, the Raekwon's like Raekwon is my number one favorite artist of all time. And it's because there was a point in time in my life where I had to learn proper confidence. I had to learn like the whole idea of Raekwon being somebody that's intellectual, but still a part of the street culture, but that's looking past niggas. Like he thinking about things that niggas not even on yet. That's me. That's how I learned a lot of elements. So it's the same thing for my kids. It's like you got to learn incarcerated Scarfaces be. You got to learn how this changed the element of my life. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, at the end of the day, it's like whether they change, whether they add a genre or not. My thing is like the due diligence of everybody teaching, our kids the culture the proper way. You know what I'm saying? This is just
Trust
a
me,
real thing.
nobody teaches it better than people that been through it.
Yeah.
Not somebody who currently going through it, but people that been through it.
Mm-hmm. That's real. That's real. I do got to ask one more thing before you go. I ask one more thing. When is Mac 10 dropping records?
Real soon, man. Real soon. Finished the
Come
film.
on, man.
So
don't get to telling film.
He finished the film. He finished the movie. So I've been trying to get him to make his soundtrack the album. He thinks it would be better as more of a soundtrack. And I'm like, nah, it should be your album.
Mac is one of those guys where very business oriented. I love that. I think he learned from the best to be one of the best. But I'm not going to accept the fact that we ain't got no records. We need them records, man. And I know he got a lot to say.
I'm on it, man. I'm on his ass every day, man. I'm on him all the time. I'm always telling him, man, the Mac 10 album should be I think it's his like 10th album. I'm like, this should be your 10th album. Yeah. I mean, you could have some songs with other people on there, but man, let's make this your album. Like this is what we all came to see.
I always look at Mac, and this may sound crazy, but I always look at Mac as the Hove of Inglewood. In the context of combination between good business, great lyricism, his approach to being who he is at all times. Like, I could picture Mac walking in with just a, regular t-shirt, jean jacket or whatever in a room full of niggas who millionaires and billionaires and him just being who he is. So I always called him like the Inglewood Jovito, you know what I'm saying? And and it also I really need him to drop music is because, rest in peace, Big Y, he's not able to be here to give us more music, even though we do have hard drives full of his stuff. But I just want to see somebody from the city continue. That's from the era. You know what I'm saying? So 100%, man. Tell it, man. Like, yeah, man, you gotta drop them records, man. It's people that's waiting on that. And Inglewood needed more than ever right now. You know what I'm saying? Rest in peace, China from Cam and China. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We need that more than ever. Man, you already know, Glasses. I appreciate you, man. It's a great
love, Brody. I'm on you. I'll give you a call.
You already know. Hold it down.
Yes, sir.
Man, that's my guy, man. Big Glasses, you know what I'm saying? He stirred up trouble for the right reasons, you know what I'm saying? I appreciate y'all tapping in, and we need more conversations like this, you know what I'm saying? We need more opportunities to expand our culture, especially everyone that's coming from different cities, states, countries. Like, we are the ones who can continue this culture the right way. And even though I'll be talking shit and be saying that Glasses be starting trouble, in actual reality, he's stirring the pot the right way. He's trying to get all of us to realize that if we don't step up to the plate, we're gonna lose what we love. We've gotten through 50 years, 51 years of hip hop. We got to work harder to keep it. We got to work harder to keep it. And when I mean keep it, I mean keep the energy and the soul of hip hop. Keep the context of what's needed to continue to make great music, to continue to flourish, to continue to work together. These things are important. We need more of this. You get what I'm saying? Even Glasses. We need more of his music. I'm finna call him tonight or tomorrow and tell him, hey, keep dropping records, B. Keep dropping records. We need more of that. And for anybody that's listening, all of y'all that's tuning in, wherever you at, make sure you support the artists that you want to see grow and let the artists know that you want to see drop music. Let them know, man, keep dropping, because I know how it feels to be a creative and not want to drop nothing. Not want to drop nothing. Like who gonna listen to this? Or I'm over this. I want to do something else. We need more people to continue to tell us, like, nah, put that music out. We need to hear that. We need to hear that. The more times people say it, it gives them more energy to get back into the fold, get back into the mix. You know what I'm saying? We need more of that. That's important. So I appreciate all y'all tuning in. This was a great interview. It was really a conversation. It wasn't even an interview. This is a conversation. It's my guy. You know what I'm saying? We talk about this all the time. I called him earlier and I was like, you starting trouble again. That's how we got to get to this. You know what I'm saying? He was like, man, call me in 30 minutes. Pull up the live. Let's talk about it. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate this. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely finna go up on my YouTube page. Make sure y'all like and subscribe. Make sure I share the live. And I ain't gonna lie, I've been slipping on going live, so I'm gonna make sure I keep going live. And I got some stuff to show y'all. You know what I'm saying? I got some stuff to show y'all. The studio's looking pretty fire. You know what I'm saying? So it's a couple of things I'm gonna do. But I appreciate y'all. You already know what it is, man. And I also got some new content that I'm dropping on my members only on my channel. So if you're not a member on my channel, you can't get this sauce. But I got some new stuff that I'm dropping tonight for y'all for tomorrow on my members only, man. I appreciate y'all. We out.